Hello, I'm Aidan.
And I'm Melody.
And welcome to the Hobby Hearth Podcast, where we discuss all things nerdcore and hobby related. From film and TV to video games and tabletop and everything in between.
This is our 5th episode. In our last episode, we discussed collection and creation as a hobby in of itself, and also how it is basically two things that are intertwined into every single kind of hobby. If you haven't checked it out, please go ahead and check it out, and you can also go check out our vlog.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone who has supported the channel so far, all of you who have subscribed and liked. We really appreciate your support. It's a small start, but we are hoping to kind of get things going, and we appreciate everyone who is joining us for the ride.
Yeah. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any other videos of the Hobby Hearth. And also you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. That is podcast specific.
Mm-hmm.
You can also feel free to join us on our Discord, which is in the link below, if you want to ever have a bit more of a chat about hobbies.
So, what's new? As you can probably see, we're in a brand new location. Elodie's had her big move, so we are now in her studio, which is going to be the primary location for the Hobby Hearth going forward. You might still see like my house in the old episode or two, but that really is due to like whether we need some flexibility.
Yeah, we live fairly close by to each other, but just for reasons it might be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that this is going to be the primary place, however, flexibility. A little fun fact for you guys, my studio is actually on the top floor of my house. So we fondly call it the Wizard's Tower. So I feel like that's quite fitting for the hearth.
Yes. We're hoping to get a like little fire on the back in the backdrop at some point, so just to kind of be true to the name.
Yep. You will be, or I hope to kind of bring you all along for a little journey, kind of keep an eye on the Instagram, because I will be doing lots of little show and tells of what's going on in the background as the backdrop evolves, because I've got a few more ideas, a few things I'm putting into place. Not everything I ordered has arrived yet. So there's going to be an evolving backdrop in the background, and I'll definitely be bringing you guys along for the ride and the further kind of exploration of the Hobby Hearth Tower.
Moving on, just to remind you guys, we have a vlog on our YouTube page. This is our first vlog, one of many, where we discussed our experience of the UK Games Expo. So thank you to everyone who has watched it so far. I think it's done quite well, last I checked. And so big thank you. And please check that out if you haven't seen it already.
Yep. The UK Games Expo was absolutely amazing. The vlog very much just kind of gave a encompassing overview of our general experience. So what you can expect in the next few weeks is some more in-depth reviews of some of the games we played and some of the things we've encountered. Which also brings us very neatly into the fact that, as promised, new house means more content will be coming out very soon, such as...
Well, so, I mean, obviously, we've said that we've been planning quite a few things over the summer. So we've got vlogs coming out. We might have blogs coming out, vlogs and blogs. Various short form and long form content, your regular podcast, and I have recently gotten into 3D printing, so I bought a resin and a filament 3D printer, which I'm recording content for to make another vlog, discussing my kind of experience of a newbie getting into the 3D printing hobby. I'm also going to be journaling or video journaling my experience of learning 3D modeling as well, because I would like to make my own miniatures at some point. So yeah, that's an exciting chapter that's started. Others, most of these are actually coming from me. I think you've got your own plans.
Yeah, I've
but,
got some new. I've got my own stuff coming out. Although that's kind of still kind of in the planning process, whereas you've actually got stuff on the grill.
Yes. So another one is that I am planning on making the switch from from Xbox to PC, purely because I don't like the direction that Microsoft and Sony are going in terms of the digital market space, and I think that Steam is a lot more consumer friendly than those two. And it's been something that's been kind of ticking in the back of my mind for a while now, but I've recently gotten the opportunity to start building my own gaming PC. So I'll be vlogging that and making videos on like the building journey. And once that's done, it'll be a case of me rebuilding my library on Steam, which will include Doom playthroughs. So basically starting gaming from scratch.
I'll be joining you on some of those playthroughs, which are going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. And we'll let you know closer to the time, but I'll be streaming most of those on Twitch, and then we'll have kind of cut up versions
here on the main
channel, and then the uncut, unfiltered,
full PG-13.
Yes, full videos on an account that I'll make for YouTube. So that's coming out, and then shortly, just in the editing process of it right now, but shortly, a painting tutorial for Tiamat, the five-headed dragon of D&D. A tutorial of painting that will be coming out soon. So
I think that's somewhere behind me there.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful birthday present. Thank you very much, Aidan. I'm going to use it absolutely demonstratively badly. I'm going to hurt my players with it so much. I'm really looking forward to that.
Internal screaming. Internal screaming. Cool. Any other updates?
Not really. Just as always, keep an eye on our Hobby Hearth Instagram, which is linked in the description below, for any more regular updates. If you really want to know what's going on in our news and that sort of thing, that's where we're most likely to put things. But I think more just generally, now the move is done, now we've kind of come to a place of like really being ready. We're hoping to get out regular stuff for you. As always, the Hobby Hearth will be on the last Hobby Hearth podcast will be on the last Saturday of the month. This month was the exception. Sorry, I didn't have internet.
Can't get the staff. What you got there, really?
Board games.
How many?
All of
them. So the topics that we're going to discuss on this episode, we're going to cover the broad range that covers tabletop games. We're going to cover some of our favorite games, and we're also going to talk about some of the games that we played at the UK Games Expo. Yes. Are you having fun there? Yes. So let's dive into our main discussion. Not that one. No. Oh. So jumping in to our first topic, let's discuss the broad range that covers tabletop games. Yeah. So I think the first place to start really in that is, what do we mean by tabletop games? And I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, any games that are played on the surface of a table or floor.
Yeah.
$1 million answer, that one. Yeah. So from miniature wargaming, trading cards, poker, Monopoly, D&D, pretty much anything. And I think it's no understatement of the sheer scale of tabletop games in the hobby scene, is it?
No. I think the UK Games Expo really demonstrated how big tabletop gaming
Yeah.
really is. Because as you say, it's not just tabletop games like board games, but it includes wargaming, it includes card games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it encompasses so much. And
Chess.
chess. But I like how you're like board games and you're like chess.
Well, I mean, like chess is like the
It's
definitive board
strategy
game, isn't it?
It's a strategy game. But the thing is that board games are so big.
Mm-hmm.
Not board games, tabletop games.
Yeah.
It's such a big scene, and I think you could easily just spend an hour or two talking about each one individually. An hour on card games, an hour on board games, an hour on war games. There's so many.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, once you start talking about board games, you could spend an hour talking about Three Kobolds in a Trench Coat,
Yeah. Yeah.
or Flamecraft, or Monopoly. You
Mm-hmm.
could just spend hours talking about things. So we're going to try and keep this, particularly as we talk about some of our favourite games, we're going to try and keep it fairly kind of simple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're
gonna be
gonna.
like a bit of an overview, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think like when people think hobbies, like board games is one of the things that, or tabletop games, that is one of the things that comes up like the
Yeah.
most, like short of like woodworking,
Yeah.
and video gaming. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely wonder, like, what do you think's bigger, like tabletop games or video games?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. See, I think the fact that there was such an insurgence in like board game cafes
Mm-hmm.
and such a popularization of games like D&D in the like 2020s. Well, it was really from mid 2010s, really like 2015
Mm-hmm.
onwards, that you just saw like this insurgence of like popularity in board games and um board game cafes, and then like surge of popularity in like tabletop games like D&D.
Yeah.
um if you'd asked me this 10 years ago, I might have said video games. However, I'm really on the fence now.
See, I think it's board games, like, and it's not even close. Like,
Really, not even close.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I know the video games is the biggest marketplace, or like it's bigger than like Hollywood and music combined. But I still think board games, if as a whole, beats video games purely because of how accessible it is to everyone.
Yeah.
You have board games that are millennia old.
Yeah. They were like some of the first hobbies.
Exactly.
First things done. What was that game that it's like checkers but not. Editorially, we'll kind of throw it up around here.
Yeah.
But it was literally played by Egyptians and ancient civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah, and like I think it's like yeah, like because board games are so board games, tabletop games are so like ancient as well. Like it's probably one of the most ancient forms of entertainment. Like you're seeing like dice that are being dug up by archaeologists, and it's I genuinely think like tabletop games definitely far and away outstrips video games.
I hear you. I do hear you. And certainly when you think about how many video games have been inspired by board games
Oh
or
yeah.
tabletop games. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Skyrim, Baldur's Gate, all those sorts of games, they were very much following the D&D process, that idea of a fantasy quest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely. I do see what you mean. I do see what you mean. Equally, I think everyone can be into a form of video game nowadays. Even if it's just someone playing like a mobile game, they will like a mobile game. Whereas not everyone is necessarily, or not everyone considers themselves to be into board games. But I think people who do consider themselves to be into board games are like really into board games.
Yeah.
But you know, I know people who, if I said, "Oh, I'm having a board games night," they'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's nice." I mean, to be fair, I know people, if I said I was having a video game, they'd be like, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but what I mean is that even people who aren't necessarily video gamers probably play some sort of video game, even if it's like a mobile game.
Yeah.
Whereas board games, I think, are a little bit more niche. Maybe, I don't know.
I would,
don't know.
yeah. I mean, like, it all depends if you include things like chess, Monopoly, checkers in that niche or not, or like solitaire.
Solitaire. This is it. Solitaire. Is it a board game? Is it a video game?
Tabletop game.
Is it a tabletop game or is it a video game?
I think it's a tabletop game.
Yeah, but have I ever played it on the tabletop?
Yeah, but that's down to you, isn't it?
Have you ever played solitaire on a tabletop?
No, because I've never played solitaire, like, full stop.
What, you never played it on the desktop?
No,
a desktop
no,
version?
I never understood it.
You never understood?
No. But yeah, I think tabletop games have such a wide variety that I think like it is really accessible to everyone. Like, you can play tabletop games casually, or you can go hardcore. Like, and I think pretty much every hobby, like, no matter what, has touched the tabletop scene in some form or another.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's something that's also very interesting, is that so much translates to tabletop games. People find ways to make games about about various things. I mean, Avatar: The Last Airbender, there is a TTRPG out there for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Incredible.
Yep. There's an Elden Ring board game.
Yeah. There's the Witcher cards.
Yeah.
What is it?
Gwent.
That's it. There's Gwent. There's so many things. I mean, Monopoly, as per the capitalist ethos it follows, wants to make, there's Stardew Valley Monopoly, there's Dungeons and Dragons Monopoly, there's...
I mean, that's a hobby in of itself. It's just collecting all the different kind of Monopoly games.
I love those people who are online who make Monopolies. There was one girl, I'm going to have to try and link her account somewhere around here, who did like Monopoly of like the Taylor Swift Eras tour.
That's fantastic.
And she hand painted the boards.
That's fantastic.
And this is kind of what I mean. I think the other thing about tabletop games is that you can make them very much your own.
Yeah. I think unlike video games, is that like you can homebrew your own like board games.
Yeah, and you can homebrew rules within your games. I mean, does anyone really know the rules of Uno, or do we all just, play by our own rules?
All I know is that you collect 400 when you land on Go.
Exactly. But yeah, I think, we're talking very board games here, but this also applies to like tabletop games. I think Dungeons and Dragons is a great example of that. You homebrew a world. It's not necessarily that you have to follow the source material. Any TTRPG, to be honest, has that kind of flavor to it, that element of being able to like throw your own game into it and make it your own. Wargaming is very similar. I'm not as familiar with card games.
Yeah, that's not a scene that I'm into myself, though. Like, I am aware of the scale of like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon card and Magic the Gathering tournaments. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how big those tournaments are, and like people win thousands in those tournaments. Like, just like, but playing the game. I mean, I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards like way back when.
We did. We had a great time with those.
And yeah, like my favorite card is Time Wizard.
I know. Yeah. One of my favorite things is that it is still in your phrasing when we're playing games. that involve any kind of card, even if it's a board game that just has cards involved, you will go and I finish my turn in defense mode.
I don't even do it in with card games. It's just any game.
Any game where it's it's a turn-based system, you will just go.
I'll just end my turn in defense mode. Yeah.
And it makes me laugh how much that vocabulary is stuck with me.
Yeah, definitely one of my vocal stims.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, go on.
All right then.
In this next topic, we're going to talk about some of our favourite games, of which there are many. So we are going to try and keep this fairly condensed. No guarantees.
No guarantees, yeah.
We did sit down before this, before we recorded, and we were like, look, we cannot spend 4 hours talking about games as much as we want to. We will have future episodes to talk about these games in more depth, but we need to just be focused here. So we're going to try our best. And as we talk about our favourite games, I think we should start with the one that is probably our most favourite tabletop game, or at least the one we both share a great love of, which is
D&D.
D&D. Dungeons and Dragons. We first started playing Dungeons and Dragons in 2020 during the lockdowns. It was something to really do, and our blessed parents were so compassionate and played with us.
Yeah.
But they weren't that interested in it. But that was when we really began playing. But I think we were exposed to it much earlier.
Yeah, I mean that was when Critical Role really came into our radars, really. Partly because you started watching Critical Role before me anyway, and I only found out about Critical Role because Matthew Mercer voiced a character in Overwatch. I think I've probably said this before.
Yeah, we have had this conversation before. I mean, I started watching Critical Role, I'd say 2018.
Midway through campaign 2,
Midway through campaign 2, I started watching. Not actually midway through campaign 2, but that's when I started watching. And as a matter of fact, by the season finale, I was caught up. Or campaign finale, I was all caught up because they took a massive break during COVID, and I caught up.
I didn't.
Don't ask me how behind I am on campaign 4.
Oh, I'm so behind as well.
But it was very much that got me into D&D. However, we'd had a couple of games, a couple of experiences. I remember Dad reading us a rule book, one of the early like 2E or something rule books.
Yeah.
So it was a very different setting, and we kind of had a little bit of a game then. And that was actually one of Mum's old rule books.
Oh God,
Mum played D&D.
Yeah.
No idea what's happened to that. And then we played it with a friend of ours, which was just really fun. And that was a one shot he'd done, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
So funny. But yeah, I mean, that was 2020 was when we really began playing D&D, and then I think 2022.
It was after COVID.
Yeah, I think it was 2022 we put our D&D group together, which consists of me, your wife, your wife's brother, and another one of our friends.
Yeah. And then you as the DM.
And then me as the DM.
Yeah.
Yes. And you as well. Don't know if I already said that.
As a player.
As a player.
Yeah.
So that's our primary campaign. That is a homebrewed campaign that I actually wrote for you for Christmas. If you remember, I specifically wrote that campaign for you as a gift. So when we started that campaign, which we didn't start until the summer. So I think it must be then, because I think it's 2023, because I think we're about 3 years into the campaign.
I've got my a notebook that has the day when we started somewhere, but like
Yeah.
that's at home.
But that's our homebrew one, and then this year we've started a wild mount campaign, which is a lot more flexible.
Yeah, a bit more episodic and
Yeah.
kind of self-contained one shots almost,
Yeah.
but with
Yeah.
same characters.
Yeah. And it was for the purpose that we would basically swap being DMs. It was as and when I needed a break from the main one where I actively work on and write. So it was like, okay, well, we'll introduce this one, which in turn has meant we've been able to invite other people. So we've got two
Potential new players,
potential
yeah.
new players who have hoping to join and take part, and we're really excited about that. So yeah, it's been fun. What do you like about D&D?
I think, I mean, you and I both love storytelling.
Yeah.
And being Tolkien fans as we are, that's kind of had a massive influence on our life. And so I think D&D kind of being the spawn of Tolkien, or of Tolkien inspiration, kind of helped in that. But the idea of like just high fantasy or dark fantasy, the idea that you could play a game that is the ultimate sandbox as well. It could be whatever you want. You could be whoever you want. The story could be like as crazy or as grounded as you wanted it. I think like the pure freedom that D&D offers is so attractive to me. And then kind of watching campaign 2 of Critical Role and seeing the masterful storytelling that a group of players were like making really kind of solidified like how much I actually loved the idea of D&D and playing it and kind of being able to kind of tell my own collaborative story with people.
That's how I often describe D&D as a game, is that it is collaborative storytelling. I might have created the world, I might have created the quest, but it is very much how the story goes is very much catered towards how the players choose to interact with it. And I think D&D is a very character-driven storytelling.
Yeah.
I think for me, I just love the idea that you can play make believe with your friends. It's a very much comes back to like those sorts of games that you play when you were like, a kid and you play make believe and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's exactly the same. I love it.
Yeah, and I think I love that you can kind of obviously make your own homebrew rules and kind of make the game exactly what you want. Like the rules as written are guidelines. They aren't to be necessarily to be followed as like as gospel basically. And like that kind of whole idea of playing make believe with your friends, like you could be as serious or as unserious as you want. And the amount of things that have come from D&D since, like not just in the not just like other D&D like games, but like obviously in the video games you've got games like Baldur's Gate. You've got like other board games like Three Kobolds and a Trench Coat. All kind of sorts of things have kind of created D&D as its own kind of behemoth in the hobby sphere.
I find it quite interesting you talking about how the rules are kind of what you make it with D&D, because there are people out there who get really hung up on the rules of D&D and have this idea that D&D isn't really D&D if you're not playing by the rules. But I think that must be such a hard way to play. Not in terms of mechanics. They're very easy mechanics to pick up on once you try, once you play them and all of that. But I mean in terms of imagination. And I think that's true for any tabletop game really, is that if you don't have a element of imagination with it, then it kind of where's the joy if you stickler to the rules? And
yeah, and like for
some of
some
these
people it
games,
does work, but
yeah.
like I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think on our next kind of tabletop episode or tabletop themed episode, we're going to be talking more about your D&D campaign, because we kind of said twice now that we'll kind of push it back.
Yeah.
But like D&D is one of the core kind of
Yeah.
games that we both have fallen in love with and just really enjoy.
Yeah.
What other board games do you like?
Other board games
Or
slash
tabletop games?
tabletop games. Honestly, I like literally so many of them. I think if we kind of pivot to more board games, obviously, who doesn't like a game of Uno or anything like that? But I think my favorite games tend to be collaborative games. So games where you play as a team, or co-op games, and even games that are a little bit more, not gentle, but have much more of a cozy vibe to them. So Flamecraft is like one of my all-time favorite games. It has some beautiful art. It's about constructing your town full of dragons, and I love that. It's perfect. And I'm very much looking forward to some of the more stuff that they're coming out with in the next few months. But I definitely love Flamecraft. I feel like we've got to talk about. I mean, I know we're going to talk about the games later, but I think we've got to talk about Three Kobolds in a Trench Coat. That has become a quick favourite.
Yeah.
For my birthday, which was just the other week, we decided to have a board games evening with our friends, and that was a centerpiece of games that we played. And it was so much fun. Yeah, so Three Kobolds in a Trench Coat, that's a really fun one.
Yeah, you can play with up to 2 to 4 players.
Yeah.
And the idea of like you're basically each team has 3 kobolds, and you have to go through various quests or tasks, or even
challenges.
Challenges like player versus player challenges, to kind of keep your 3 kobolds alive or in the game. And yeah, I mean, as I said, we'll have a kind of short or something to give a proper like little review on it, but it's so easy to pick up, and I love board games that are very easy to pick up, or tabletop games that are very easy to pick up.
Yeah, it's very user friendly as a game. One of the people who was there, they'd never ever played it before, and within a round they'd gotten the hang of it. Like they were so on top of it, and they really knew what they were doing. So it's a fun game. It has so many different elements to it in terms of the game mechanics. There's bluffing, there's dice rolling, there's using items. It's a very comprehensive game, which is also really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And again, it has fantasy creatures. So I feel like we're following a theme here.
Yeah, that's true.
Unstable unicorns. Always a fun game.
Any of the unstable games are some of our favourites, and it's one that my wife, or like set of games that my wife and I collect quite a bit. Unstable unicorns. What else? Should probably thought of this list before I actually started saying it.
Yeah, I know it's not part of the Unstable Unicorns franchise, or at least I don't think so, but Exploding Kittens.
Yeah, I mean, that's very similar.
Very similar sort
Happy
of game.
Little Dinosaurs is another unstable game. Casting Shadows,
and again the art.
Yeah, and also they're very, very easy games to pick up, which is fantastic. One of my all-time favorite games, chess. I know it seems a bit boring, but I remember as a kid playing chess for hours, especially with one of the old fellas at church I used to go to. Just being at like playing chess with him for like hours on end, and like chess holds a very special place in my heart. I've seen like those chess boards where the pieces like move using magnets, and you can set it to basically, and like you can play against, like basically you'll use a USB that you download a program on, you plug the program in, and you can play against the computer. And so you move a pawn or something, and the computer will move pieces on its own. So you can play solo basically, but with a physical chessboard.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
One of the things I'm going to be printing off is a Elden Ring chess set.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah. And just like loads of other kind of casual games I like. There's one that one of our friends brings to socials quite a bit. It's called Citadels. If anyone hasn't played it, you basically have to build your own kind of citadel, but each round you take on a persona. So you could be a thief, you could be a warlord, a wizard, and each of them get various abilities. So like the architect can build 2 things in one turn. The warlord might be able to destroy another player's buildings. The king is immune or something like that. So like and it's just really quick, casual, and fun.
We've had some big laughs.
Absolutely. So any other board games or tabletop games from you?
I want to mention Dutch Blitz.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't play it. I'm no good at it. It's Dutch Blitz, if you haven't heard of it, is a weird combination of solitaire, snap,
and Uno.
It's just you've got to match these cards. They're all in the middle. It's a lot of you move your hands really fast, and your wife is deadly at it. Absolutely deadly. But honestly, every time we play it, I find it hysterical.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, did I come in dead last? Last time we played, and I just it killed me. I didn't matter. I was having such a fun time.
Yeah.
And I think those are games I really enjoy. It doesn't matter how whether you win or lose, if you're having fun. Like, that's something I said. It's a fun game to lose.
Yeah.
Because it is just so funny.
I think we need to tell the story of that time that with my wife.
Oh yes.
When we played it. So like, we'd recently had our daughter, my wife and I, and our friend who had invited us around for a social for her birthday, and we were playing Dutch Blitz, and it was myself, you, my wife, and someone else, and our friend. It was like 5 of us.
Yeah. Which is not a small party when it comes to Dutch Blitz.
Yeah.
Like, the more players there are, the more chaotic it gets.
Absolutely. And for, I think it was like the first 3 rounds, my wife had like steamrolled ahead, but we were somewhat keeping pace.
Yeah.
And then she had to go and feed our daughter.
Yeah.
And she was out for like 2 rounds, which meant that we had like a lead on her.
Yeah.
She was cool with that. Like, she was cool with like being out.
Yeah.
And she then came back on the 3rd round, after missing 2 rounds, she then came back on the next round. And she clawed back her lead within like 2 or 3 rounds and won the game. Like, it was crazy. It was insane. Like, just absolute machine. Just like, Blitz, done. I win.
Yeah.
And we were just like looking at her like, what are you?
No, it was nuts. But as I said, it's a fun game, and it's a fun game to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely.
But honestly, we could talk about all sorts of board games. We could talk about all sorts of you know, tabletop games in general. I mean, you could talk about Warhammer.
Yeah, I feel like Warhammer deserves its own kind of
Yeah.
dedicated video or
and it's not a game you
podcast,
get to play as much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm much more into the painting and well, I don't like building, but I like the painting side of Warhammer more than because I don't get to play as much as I'd like to. But the games that I have played are very fun. I think I prefer Age of Sigmar to Warhammer 40,000, and I prefer Middle-earth strategy battle game to Age of Sigmar. But being a Lord of the Rings fan, there's a bit of bias to that.
Yeah.
But Warhammer is a definite love of mine, which I'll talk about in another episode. Any other kind of board games or tabletop games that you kind of want to cover for now, or shall we kind of leave it there?
I think we'll leave it there. I think we've come to a very neat place. Keeping focused. So we'll leave it there for the sake of keeping focused. But I mean, if you ask me to talk about more board games, I will.
Okay, no worries. So, in our next topic, we're going to talk about the games that we played at the UK Games Expo, which is kind of what inspired this podcast episode, really, didn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Obviously, we've got the vlog that's out, which kind of covered our experience of the UK Games Expo as a whole. So, if you want a kind of bite-sized version of this kind of section that goes more into the UK Games Expo, then go check that out, as always. But I
think we're going to specifically talk about the games.
Yeah, the games that we played. So I played 3 games, and you played a couple more than me, haven't you?
I think I ended up playing 3 as well.
You played one that I didn't play.
Yeah, and you played one I didn't play.
Yeah, and I don't remember the one that I played that you didn't.
That's great. That's a good job. Good job. Well done.
It's probably in my photo log somewhere. I can't remember.
It was also day 1, I think, and everything was very a blur on day 1.
It really was. I mean, so we've obviously spoken a bit about Three Kobolds and Trench Coat already.
Yeah.
And we will have in-depth kind of reviews or videos on these games. One of the things I did want to bring up with the Three Kobolds and Trench Coat was that it was really great to talk to the creator and the designer of Three Kobolds and the Trench Coat.
Or one of them, anyway.
One of them. And just like their process of building the game and kind of play testing it with different people and different groups. And like by the time we got to play it, they were in their final version, their launch version. So they were launching the proper game at that point. But the love and care that they'd actually put into creating the game, going as far as kind of getting designers digital designers on Reddit for their character art and such, and like kind of thinking up rules, scrapping rules, what worked, what didn't work, and like how they want to kind of not expand it or do an expansion, but they want to do an ultimate edition which does introduce new elements to it.
I was so excited about this idea when he was talking to us, that it's not just going to be about when they talk about expanding the game and that sort of thing, they're not just looking about expanding the game, they're looking at expanding the world. They want to do a comic series of the Three Kobolds. They want to do a follow-up game where, as opposed to like an extension of the game, it's okay, the Three Kobolds are in prison now, how do you get them out? And I love that idea. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about Flamecraft is that they've built a world around Flamecraft now. However, in so many ways, the Flamecraft world, it's just different games of Flamecraft. That's not a criticism at all. I love these different games. But I really like this idea that games that are centered in a world, like Three Kobolds, like Flamecraft, they become a whole kind of thing, really.
Yeah.
They take on a whole entity in of themselves, and I love that because it becomes more than just Monopoly. It becomes a real game that you can really, really dive into.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think, as you said, the thing about Three Kobolds and a Trench Coat that was really fun was that we were able to have a real discussion about, what it actually takes to make a game.
Yeah.
And it's so much work and
Mm-hmm.
it's so much dedication, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, but it seems like they've been really successful from what we heard, so which is really encouraging. Like, I think that was actually one of the bigger highlights of the UK Games Expo, not just for us but for other people as well. Like they've done how well they've done.
Yeah, and we're rooting for them as they continue to grow. They've got a few things. In our vlog, we link all of our games that we played. We link them all in the descriptions. All their socials in the descriptions. So do go check it out. Go check out what they're doing. We'll put them in the description here as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really exciting stuff coming from the makers of Three Kobolds in a Trench Coat.
I think we've spoken.
Fancrafted, who created the
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember like what the. It's terrible, isn't it?
Because I was saying Flamecraft.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
kept getting that mistake in the vlog as well. So.
We've spoken about that quite a bit, so let's move on to a couple of the other ones. So we played Questiny, which I'll let you kind of go more into because I didn't get to play that one, did I?
No, you didn't get to play Questiny either, did you?
No.
No.
I was watching it and kind of like
taking note on it. Yeah,
but I got distracted by other things.
Yeah. So Questiny is more of a long form game. Three Kobolds in a Trench Coat takes between 15 minutes to 45 minutes. Although I will say this, just circling back to Kobolds for a second, when we played it at my birthday, it did go on for about an hour and a half. Just so you're aware, Fancrafted, it can go on longer.
Yeah.
That might have something more to do with the players, but definitely it can go on longer than 45 minutes. Anyway, Questiny. Questiny is a long form game, so it's more like games like Monopoly, which can take 2 hours, 3 hours, really however long it takes. And Questiny is very much inspired by that dungeon crawler aesthetic. You play as a character, some form of a hero, and you have to basically navigate a labyrinth, which is the map we get to play on.
Kind of like think old school D&D kind of like pen and paper, like you're mapping out your dungeons kind of thing.
Yeah. And what is really incredible about this particular map, and this was the thing that really drew me to it, because I found Questiny about last June actually. I found Questiny, and in that point they were still in their kind of making it stage.
Yeah.
Whereas this year they launched the prototype.
They're in their pre-launch phase.
They're in their pre-launch phase. They're still they're not quite launched on Kickstarter yet. They're launching in September. However, it is a really beautiful game in terms of the art style. Again, it's very much kind of almost kind of like a medieval style. But going back to the map, what I really liked about the map was how bitty it was, and the fact that the map was interactive.
Yeah, it was very much a dynamic map. Like you had pieces that moved, you could change kind of direction of certain corridors and such. And smart players would know how to kind of utilize that to their advantage to kind of defeat the monsters.
Yeah. Which was the other really interesting thing is that it kind of has this element of a monster that plays in the game. However, that monster, sorry if you can hear the wee woos outside. I live right down the end from a fire station.
Yeah.
There it goes. So, but Going back to the monsters, the monster element of it is that the monsters they come on these cards, and although you might play as someone plays as the monsters, they still play on the as a character. So it's kind of like a DM-less game. There's no one necessarily playing the antagonist. Sorry, my cat meowed. The tower cat is now also potentially going to make an appearance within these games, within these podcasts,
within these games.
Within these games, I'm still talking about games, but kind of circling back to Questiony. It's a co-op game, so the idea is that you work together to basically achieve what you need to achieve, defeat the monsters. You basically have to get something and get back to the other side of the board. For very simple kind of overview.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a really, really enjoyable game. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do when Kickstarter comes out. And again, it's a game made with love.
Yeah.
You know, they put so much effort into the rules. Again, it's got a day-night system, which I think I love it. I love that. It feels like a game that again has a whole world within it, and I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah. And then, do you want to talk about the last one that you played?
Final game I played.
It's a bit of a kind of last minute.
Yeah, it was a last minute one. But also it was like very much a hidden gem one.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to UK Games Expo, I knew I wanted to play Questiony, and three kobolds in a trench coat came up on our radar.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was one I just ran into, and I just really loved the idea of it. So the game is called Trouble Brewing, and it is by Nightjar Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And in Trouble Brewing, you play as pixies. I love it. And the idea is that you help brew a potion. And this potion, there's a cauldron in the middle of the board, and you have to basically harvest all the various, or you plant seeds, you then water the seeds in the garden, and then you get your various plants, and you have to pick those plants and put them in the cauldron. However, you have various glamours that you can do, because pixies, they're competitive, they're mischievous, they're not necessarily like, don't always, follow the rules. So they very much a case of, when they're playing, or when you're playing, you can try and trick the witch, or you can trick your fellow pixies, or you can throw the wrong ingredient into the potion and make it brew over.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really, really fun game. And again, I think one of the things I liked about this game was that the creator, she had done at university, she had done video game design, I believe. And as part of her final thesis, she said, "Look, instead of doing a video game design, I'd like to do a board game design," and they allowed her to do that. And Trouble Brewing is the result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also in its Kickstarter form. It was meant to release at the end of June, however, they've had to push it back a little bit. But I'm so excited to see where that goes. Definitely well worth a follow on Kickstarter if you haven't already or you don't know it. Because I think it's a game made with love. It's a unique game. I think one of the things we found at the UK Games Expo, playing various different games and kind of even observing various different games, was a lot of games have very similar rules.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element of that, bluffing is very common in games, all of this. The rules about item cards being helpful, there's certain elements to games or certain game mechanics that kind of fall within all sorts of games. And
yeah,
I definitely think that Trouble Brewing has kind of introduced some new mechanics to games, which I think is a really incredible thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. And yeah, I would really rate the game, and I look forward to being able to play it again when it is not in its infancy. Because
Yeah.
this game is very much in its infancy. But very much looking forward to it.
I think one of the things we discussed when we like post UK Games Expo was that one of the things we're going to do for the next one is kind of schedule more games that we're going to play, because I think this first kind of experience was us getting used to the or kind of exploring the environment, seeing what was available and things like that. But I mean, the amount of games that were available to play.
One game, and it's kind of a tabletop game, but it comes with a book and everything. I really would like to play. I haven't had the chance to get it yet because of the move and everything. Is Spectral Seas, and just think gay pirates, like incredible. It's honestly, when they were talking about the premise of the game, that basically it's a role-playing game. It can be a solo role-playing game where basically you play as sailors who have died, but you have very little memory of who you were, and it is more about who you are now and who you are becoming, and your role is to help people move on to the other side as you sail the spectral seas. And honestly, I was tearing up when they were talking about it. And the writer and the artist who did it, again, just such a labour of love. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping to get it very soon to have a play. But that was a fantastic game. And I think that was the lovely thing about the UK Games Expo, is that there was so much out there.
Yeah.
And it really expanded my horizons as to the sheer amount of games that could be played.
Cool. Well, I think we'll leave it there, and we'll wrap up this episode. So, hope you enjoyed that episode. In the next episode of the Hobby Hearth Podcast, we're going to chat about Marvel, and specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
And our love for that universe, and some of our criticisms, I think, in the later phases. But it's going to come out a great time, being as Spider-Man, Brand New Day will not long come out. Oh my gosh. And then the episode after that, we're going to discuss the Cozy Gamer, specifically talking about video games again. We're going to be talking about some of our favourite cozy games like Stardew Valley, The Sims, and some wild cards that might not seem cozy, but we might consider cozy. So we'll go from there.
So this is just a reminder, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'm forgetting what the YouTube pleasantries are.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. There we go. Let us know in the comments what your favourite tabletop game is. If there's anything you kind of disagreed with us, we'd love to hear about it. What do you think is more popular, tabletop games or video games?
And as always, you can find us at our social media tags. Me at Mr. Hughes95.
And me at Being the Brave.
And you can find us as well at the Hobby Hearth on Instagram and Threads, as well as the Hobby Hearth on TikTok and BlueSky. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Hearth. Bye! Oh no.
Yeah. 2,000 gold, please.
Through this.